Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This week I kind of slacked again. This is like the 8th time, I think, because I'm a few weeks ahead on the podcast, but I'm slowly gravitating back to, just being on the week after. But so I have 4 shows that I'm going to talk about. I had Davenport, Iowa. Kilkenny's. It would have been a week ago from Friday. That Saturday, I played at Door 4 Brewing in Dekalb, and then this last weekend, I had a couple of shows. I played at Stage Left in Dekalb, and I played at Poor Brothers in Peoria. So those are the 4 I'm going to be talking about. I've had some just bad luck lately with my car and whatnot, so that's definitely made things a little bit stressful and a little, not quite completing as many things as I would like. It's gotten in the way, I would say, for sure. But all right, so let's go back. I'm missing one show. It's 5 shows because I played at the Night Shop the Thursday before the Davenport show, so that's my bad. But that's kind of where this all starts. So that day, I was kind of getting ready for the show, and my car started acting real funny. And it was really even hard to get to the Night Shop. But kind of backtracking a little bit, Night Shop was just the guy that books over there hit me up like maybe between 2 weeks and a week prior. So I didn't have a lot of time to really promote or try to get anybody out, and they were, they didn't really have other bands even necessarily lined up to play. So he asked me if I would sorry, my iPad's being weird here, but anyway, he asked me if I would do it, and then I was like the only person signed on for that day. And then eventually we got to the guy from Ink Cloud, I believe Travis Stone is his name, and like maybe 2 days before, got Long Ladder Home kind of on board. So yeah, it was a little bit rushed, but I like playing there. It's like I can do all original songs, and this time I was like, how else could I make this like a beneficial show? Because every time I played there, it hasn't been a great turnout. So I was like, well, what can I do to kind of get more out of this? Because it's not a big paying show necessarily either. But so I decided I was going to get Lo to take some pictures. So I paid her to get some pictures. She has the nice camera, and thought it would be a good way to get some more professional photography, so I have more different pictures to post, because I think the ones that I always post are a little stale. And so yeah, and then I actually got the other band interested in doing kind of the same thing, and they paid her to take some pictures as well. So you'll be seeing some pictures by Lothar Pierce soon that I'll be posting, so that'll be cool. And I decided to bring my cameras so I could slowly kind of, get some extra content to kind of release as the weeks go by. I feel a little stagnant. So, and I brought 2, so I'm trying to do like a two angle video edit. So I don't know how it's always a struggle. If I just did the one, it would be a lot easier. If it was one angle, it'd be a lot less to do, but trying to sync up the 2 different, and then I don't know what I'm doing. I just make it up. I'm not a video editor ultimately, but I can do little things. So that's one of the things. But anyway, so I'll have some of that to kind of put out. So that'll be cool. And, so yeah, my car was making funny noises earlier that day. Kind of barely made it to the Night Shop, which is like 2 blocks away. And then after that, I drove it directly to the car place, which, had me pretty stressed out, because I was like, this is going to be expensive, and don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's not too crazy. But woke up the next day to the call from them about it, and pretty much said that my car was done for, and a lot, I could get a engine rebuilt or remanufactured and put in there. I could get a used engine. Even the just simple repair on it is kind of like, maybe you should do that. But the problem with that is like, okay, well, it's been running with this thing that's going wrong with it. One of the valves in the 6-cylinder was messed up, and so it could have caused a bunch of other problems. Plus, that I've had it for a while now. It's a 10-year-old car. I've had it for about 3 or 4 years. So it's about that time where, it's going to become a little bit of a money pit, I think, ultimately. So, if I got a good engine. Anyway, so the guy in town quoted me some prices on all that. I talked to another place, and they had said that, kind of the cheapest repair, which is still over $1,000, I think it was like 14 ultimately. But, and then, so I have to, luckily, I have my family around, and they're pretty generous, and so I'm very thankful for that, very grateful, because they let me borrow some cars. My brother let me borrow. They have 2, so they kind of just were okay for the weekend, for the rest of that weekend, which was the Davenport and what was the other one? Davenport and Decatur show, which I don't know. It was, I had to bring my car to Pontiac, stay in Pontiac for a couple days, and then I don't know. It was just couldn't really plan on getting a lot of things done. Plus I had lessons, and my mom let me borrow her car for a couple days, and so I could come back and teach my in-person lessons. And then my car was finally done on Friday, and it's in the place in Pontiac. But let's get back to those shows. So long drive to Davenport. It was just a weird energy. I don't know. I just feel like the vibe of every show I've played in the last couple of weeks has been a little bit weird. I think it has something to do with this long stretch of just, in Illinois, it's been cold. So we got that preview week where we had some 70s and a lot of 60s and 50s, like the later half of the 50s, and I think those were some good weeks, and people were a little bit more excited and stuff about going out and doing things. But we've hit a lull of maybe 3 weeks in a row of it being, low 50s is like the highest it's been. But I mean, even last night it was in the 30s when I was on my way home, and I think it's supposed to snow tonight, so that's a little bit not great, but that's just kind of how it goes in this time of year. April's back and forth, but it just seems like it's been the 4th a lot. It's been cold. But so I don't know. The Davenport, the first one I played was like great, and a lot like elbow to elbow by the end of the night, people dancing, singing, having a good time. This one was definitely lower turnout, and it just felt like low energy. Like I couldn't get anybody excited about anything. I don't know why that was. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was my like I was saying, I was stressed out, and I feel like I performed okay. I didn't really even take a break that night either. I just played straight through, and packed it up, and I think I had like something stupid like 2 hours of sleep with the car drama stuff. So I let it get to me a little bit too much and couldn't really fall asleep, and was bummed out when I heard the news, and then had rushed to Pontiac to drop it off and trade out cars, and it was a lot. So, maybe it was like I was saying, maybe it was my low energy that impacted the crowd or something, but I just couldn't really get them. The next night was definitely a lot smoother sailing on a lot of fronts. I got there a little late, but it's a small room. I don't need much to fill it out, and I felt like I did a good job of keeping the volume reasonable and keeping the people there entertained, and So yeah, probably was about the same amount of people ultimately as the night before, but it was just a more engaged crowd, and they were into it. And I don't know, it was a fun one. And then I went back to Pontiac on Sunday and had to stay, till Monday because we were having them look at the car. They gave me the quote, and then I ended up leaving Tuesday back for Bloomington because I had the in-person lessons, like I was saying. And then fast forward to this week, I had stage left in Dekalb, so show felt very disconnected for me. I don't know if it was me. I didn't like the first time I played there, like the staff, I felt like I got a really good vibe from right away, and it was like a different crew of people and maybe not the same energy. And I don't know, I remember last time when I started, I asked them how loud they were wanting it, and they told me to turn it up. So I was like, okay, well, I know what this place likes. And so I had a, kind of a loud volume, and they were telling me to turn it down and stuff. So I did that, which, is fine ultimately, but it does get in your head a little bit. Like maybe it sounds bad. That's why I want it to be turned down. I don't know, but it's just how it goes sometimes. And I didn't really get any good energy or good vibes from anybody there right away, so it was kind of a tough night ultimately. I was having some stomach issues too. My stomach hurt really bad for a lot of the set, and which, I don't know if that's something performers really talk about a lot, but I wasn't feeling up to snuff physically or health wise, so. And you just try to play through, you try to let the momentum of the show kind of carry you. But by the end, I was feeling a little better, and I had went and grabbed some Pepto-Bismol, which is always a relief. And I felt like that kind of evened out my upset stomach. And by the end, it was like the few people that were there, they were at least paying attention more so than they were at the beginning, and noticing kind of some of the stuff I was doing. But I don't know, it's a long drive to Dekalb, and it's a late show. It's 9 to 12:30, so I didn't get back till like 3:30 a.m. And then the show last night was at Poor Brothers in Peoria, and yeah, it was a good show ultimately. That room is just always hard. It's always great to play the outside there because they have this huge open courtyard, really easy to sound good. But if you play indoor, I think I've only played indoor there twice, and the 2 times other than this, and the first time was just like a nightmare. I can't even I don't even want to really revisit it thought wise, but I thought it sounded okay, but I think we were too loud ultimately. And then Blair, the guy who plays guitar and or had played guitar with me for a long time, he came as a spectator, and he immediately came up and he was doing stuff to the mixer. It's like, uh-oh. And then he told me a bunch of things that were wrong with the way it sounded and got in my head. And there was another lady there that I think wasn't feeling it quite as much as I would have hoped, and she said something kind of negative. And it's just a hard room, we had 3 people. It was me, Dave, and Lo, so we were probably too much noise for that room. So I feel like in that respect was a lot easier to make it sound good. And I kind of did the opposite. I started very quiet to the point where the bar had told me to turn it up, but it's just so weird there. It's like there's nothing to absorb the sound, and the people talking is so loud, so it's really hard to focus. I did bring a little vocal monitor, which I haven't been doing, and I do feel like it helped a little bit. It was just weird. I used to use it a lot when I stood and played, and I could angle it perfectly towards my ear, but I couldn't quite get there. I remember if I tilted my head just right, it was like this, I could hear, from the vocal monitor and from the JBL as well, but you forget that after one song, you're like, oh, I hit that sweet spot, but you don't want to stay in that same pose for all night just to be exactly right. And then it can kind of fight some of your muscle memory too, but it's just like so weird. Like I would get it right, and then I re-angled it a couple times after a break, and I don't know. I feel like there were definitely moments where it was a lot of fun, and I did maybe the best version of, I've been playing Heroes by David Bowie. I did the best version of that one I think I've done so far live, so that was great. And then I kept all my upbeat originals, and like it was just like several crowds, but it's just so weird because it's every half hour, it's just like it sounds like a completely different room. It's so weird because people leave, people come, people talk less, but it's a really loud room too, so I don't know. It was definitely the best I ever sounded there, and I don't think I overdid it, and as far as too loud, and I got good feedback from the crowd, so I mean, I really can't complain. Obviously, I would much rather have done like their courtyard, but it's just too cold. Can't really get away with doing that right now. So, but yeah, so that's everything that's been going on. It's been a couple weekends as far as just like not getting enough sleep and then traveling all over the place. Next weekend, I have a show in Indianapolis, so my car is fixed. But I'm just like a little weary to be driving at long distances because I'm just waiting for that next thing to kind of happen. And now I got all these shows booked like far away, and but here's to hoping that that it'll make it. I don't know. I think it might be a good idea to get rid of that and try to get something more current with less miles. But it really doesn't have a lot of miles on it, which is kind of why I think I decided to, I could have done like a remanufactured engine, and would have had to borrow a bunch of money, and like it would have been ridiculous, but it would have been nice if there was like a 3-year warranty on that if anything went wrong with it. But when I was talking to the other garage, they were saying like most of the used engines and stuff that they were looking at were like, had way more miles on them. Like mine only has 112,000 something, which for a 10-year-old car is like decent, and it's an SUV, so I mean a lot of SUVs can do good even in the 200,000 range. But so I guess that kind of informed my decision for hoping that this was more of a random occurrence rather than something that's gonna, I mean, I think it's definitely gonna start nickeling and diming me for sure, but I don't want it to be to a point where it's not drivable, because I still have a ton of money left on it to pay it off, and I don't know. Cars can be stressful and something that I take for granted far too much, because it's literally the only way I can do my job. So, I can't really be borrowing somebody's car to get 2-3 hours away to play a show. So yeah, so that's that. Like I said, I'm hoping it's gonna work out, at least for a while. But we'll see what happens. I started recording a scratch track today for one of my tunes, and it's a song I like a lot, but I don't know. I'm just like almost feeling like giving up on it. I'm feeling a little jaded, if you can't really tell, a little like worn out. So I don't know if it's just my mental state, but it's like I worked on the song for 3 years lyrically. Like I've been trying to work the words out, and I really like the lyrics, and the guitar parts, it's really bouncy and fun, but it like some of the voicings sound similar to some of the other songs I've written. So it kind of has, I don't know if you'd call it a Thai vibe, it has like my kind of sound on it, or if it's just like too close to other songs. I don't know. I'm just feeling a little down and daunted about it, but I'm almost done with the first Night Shop video, so I'm excited to have that to post. And so I have, again, Indianapolis on Friday next week, and then I'll be in Pontiac for the Run for Respect in the morning. No night show, but I'm probably going to end up busking, I think, because after that car nonsense, I'm broke. So yeah, that's what I'll be talking about. As always, I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen, and